writers, my name is Melissa and welcome back to my channel, Hopeful Happenings. Let's say your story is happening too fast. It feels rushed. How do we slow things down? Today's video is all about how to control pacing to slow down your scenes. Alright, the first thing I'll suggest in slowing down a scene is taking a good hard look at the scene and figuring out if you can cut the scene altogether. Is there anything in this scene that you can say in summary instead of a scene? Can we turn this scene into a sequel where it's not quite as fast as just cutting it straight out, but it would be allowing us to go through the emotions of the character but in a shorter time, like the emotion, thoughts, decisions, and then action that the character might take after learning something new or going through some sort of mini disaster. I just did a video last week on sequels, so if you're feeling a little bit confused right now in what I'm talking about, go down to the description box and pull up a tab to watch that video after this one. But going back to cutting a scene, if you think that you might be able to cut some scenes, go in and evaluate the stakes. These are going to be the ones that you will be able to cut. These are going to be the scenes that you'll be able to cut or turn into sequels. Anything that has a really high risk goal should not be cut out because, then that's taking out the whole story. Okay, 2. The second thing that you could try to slow down your novel if you feel it's going too fast is taking a scene and jumping into the middle of things. Instead of showing a scene from the very beginning and going step by step through it, can we start in the middle and therefore summarize that beginning portion? Scenes always read fast, so if you cut it and add some summary in there, it does kind of slow things down and give us a breather. Adding that summary transition does slow it down. So for example, you could have someone making a cake and showing them cracking the eggs and doing the flour and everything. Or you could jump into the middle of the scene and say 20 minutes later, they poured the batter into the pan. Don't forget to also include a conflict when you jump into the scene. So 20 minutes later, she poured the batter into the pan. And then the conflict could be, where's my wedding ring? And it's inside the cake. It's a good rule of thumb to know that in every scene, there should be some sort of goal. And then there is something that is opposing the goal to create that conflict and keep things interesting. All right, the third thing that you can do to slow down a scene is you can just have your character have more internalization during the scene. Like you can just have them think about things during the scene. Number 4, you can change the scene goal. The less critical the goal, the more time the character has to develop the conflict. All right, and number 5 is changing your scene disaster. Just like with the scene goals, the less critical the disaster, the more time the character has to process what's going on. And of course, like we talked about, this processing that happens after a scene is called a sequel. If you remove the need to have like a quick response to the disaster, then the character can really have time to like hash out their emotions and thoughts, and maybe we'll go back to emotions. They really will have time to dive into what's going on in their head. And of course, those thoughts are going to lead to some sort of decision, and that decision is going to lead into an action, which will bring us into our next scene. Again, make sure you see my video from last week to learn more about how to write a proper transition between scenes using sequels. Well, there you have it. Those are 5 ways that you can control the pace in your novel by slowing down your scenes. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss a week of writing tips. I also post writing tips on my Instagram, so you can check that out as well. And if you have any questions about your own writing or you need a second pair of eyes, then please message me. I'd love to help you out. Thanks for watching, writers. I hope I see you next week. Bye!